So I saw people, I watched this video, this when you can stay consistent in the gym, and I read the comments, and a lot of people knew that, of course, well, I'll let you see. Just interesting what people said.
Mom, you stuck to the
Pretty
plan.
skinny and small, starting to get some muscle, but now, all of a sudden, who knows if he just skipped a lot of time between those photos, but that's a gigantic difference. I'll go back, because this is massive. Unless that was like a 5-10 year gap of time. I know the lighting's really good, so maybe it's like 5 years, but
Mom, you stuck
he's not a big guy.
to the plan.
You can kind of see how he's developing. But yeah, this is way more muscle. Especially in the chest. And shoulders. Chest is the biggest, but chest, shoulders, arms. He does seem to carry a bit more fat in his chest area than his abs. Really great striations in the sides. And here, now it's hard to tell because he carries more fat, like in his chest, and to a degree his arms. But he's pretty lean here. Probably his abs look really good, and his obliques. And that's a lot of size. Like maybe you think, oh, he doesn't look that. That's pro bodybuilder size. I'm not saying Mr. Olympia, but that's a lot of size. It's too slow. Now here, of course, he's got a lot of body fat, but still, that's a lot of mass. And we know that he carries more fat in his chest and his arms. I don't think his abs and obliques are going to look so shredded here, but still. It's funny as someone in the comments said, like, oh, if you saw this guy on the street, you would just think he's fat. Probably referring to a picture like this, and it's like, no, you probably wouldn't just think he's fat. You'd probably think that's a pretty big guy. Like, obviously, you're not going to think he's ready to step on a stage, but you're not just going to think this guy is fat, for sure. So we see him here at what looks like a similar body fat. You can still see his abs, like not super great or anything. But yeah, I don't think anybody is going to walk past him and go, oh, look at that fat slob. Or think like, oh yeah, that guy's pretty fat. Like, no, it's like, you don't think this guy's, you think he has a lot of muscle. Because he does.
Mom, you stuck to the plan.
He's not natty, of course, but it does take very hard work regardless to achieve this. Yes, the old eat clean, trend hard, Anavar, give up, truly inspiring. He's not natty and he's not being honest about his use, which is why some of us here are commenting about it. His plan includes gear. It's not just an ordinary plan of consistency, eating right, training, getting enough sleep, etc. That actually reminds me, the other day I was walking around in a tank top and short shorts, and there were two guys sitting on a bench, and they asked me, like, what do you need to get like that? And not being fluent in Russian, like, I understand, but, like, I asked to clarify, I'm like, what kind of food? I just think, looking back at it, I thought it was funny, because perhaps they were thinking steroids, and my mind went to food. And I told them, I eat like a kilo of meat, chicken, or fish every day, and you just need to eat enough, and you gotta train hard and sleep enough. But yeah, this guy is doing more than that. When you stay consistent with the needle, I can see the point where it's like, this ain't getting fast enough, became impatient and added gear to the plan. That's a very attainable physique, you just don't work hard enough. I wouldn't say very, some people don't have genetics for that at all. That's not attainable naturally, maybe after 10 plus years. I agree with that. So most people realize this is not a natural physique, but you still got some people doubting, some people saying it's very attainable. Let's see what I said. I'm a pro bodybuilder since, yeah, I actually am. Like, it's weird for me to think, but technically I'm a pro bodybuilder. I'm not Mr. Olympia, but I'm a pro bodybuilder, and that's not a very attainable physique. I meant naturally, of course, but even not naturally, that's not a very attainable physique. It is attainable, but it's not like it's very attainable. And I looked up his TikTok, because I could see in the bottom corner of one of his videos what it was. And it's Dentone. Of course, Denton, not Dentone. I'm just pronouncing his name funny. And here we can see him. I don't want to get TikTok. But we can see that he's pretty big. If only we knew how long it took him.
For anything logical, like money, they can't be bought, bullied.
Yeah, and also, like, for people that don't know, when you're on steroids, you stay pretty pumped up. Like, no, of course, maybe he could be this lean and he carbs up specifically for this day of taking this short video or whatever. But when I see this, I think, yeah, he's on steroids, because you don't have that kind of fullness. Like, you can have that much muscle, but it's going to look different when you're natural versus on steroids that are pumping up your red blood cell count, increasing glycogen storage, water retention.
Reasoned or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world famous out of the street. For anything logical.
See, he's not Mr. Olympia, but he's pretty big. And I don't know how long that transformation was, but if it was, I mean, if he's a genetic freak, maybe he could do it in 5 years, naturally, maybe. That's really like a 10-year physique.
I'm glad you I'm glad you
10. It's more than me. Okay, so I don't know how long it's taken him.
You think is the single great